What's up everybody, Derek here, and today we are going to go over what I learned from John with Creek Fishing Adventures. John just came and stayed with me down here in South Texas, and we went fishing for a couple of days, and it was real interesting to see his videos and then get to fish with him and see how he fishes besides what he does in his videos. And it's not really any different from what he does in his videos. But first of all, I've got to say John is exactly what you see in his videos. He's a really, really good guy. He's a cool dude, and I can't wait to fishing with him more in the future. But the other thing about him is he knows how to catch fish on creeks, and that is straight up. The guy knows how to catch them. If they're in there, he's going to figure out some way to catch those fish. And I kind of have 4 lures that he's helped mold me into to where I can make my creek fishing a lot better. And it wasn't just on this trip, it was on in his videos as well. And the first one, you probably will guess because it's one of his go-to lures, and I can definitely see why because I've been using it for a while, and it is the Nico Helgermite. These things, along with the tadpoles and some of the other Nico baits, are so effective at catching creek fish. I mean, if you look at these things, they just look awesome. The amount of plastic that goes in, I mean, look at that stretch. You could catch about 30 fish on one of these. And I don't know what it is specifically about this lure, but I could be fishing with a lure, and I talked to John, he said the same thing. He could be fishing with any other lure, and if he's having a tough time, you throw on one of these Helgermites on a 1/16 ounce jig head, it's probably going to catch you some fish. It's kind of a no-nonsense bait, and I kind of relay it to being almost like a mini Senko in a way, because of the way that it can just straight up catch fish. But that would be one that I would definitely go with if you want to catch some fish and what I learned from John. Another one is if there's any of those panfish that are out there, because I literally watched him sit in one hole and pick off about 20 fish. I mean, it was Guadalupe bass, cichlids, red breasts. It was like 20 fish in about 20 minutes. And we were analyzing and looking at the colors of the fish. So you just toss it right back in there and catch another one. But I don't have the exact ones, but it is a trout magnet. I've got the panfish magnets here, and they are basically another no-nonsense bait. They really don't do a whole lot. But paired with a 1/64 ounce or a 1/8 ounce size hook, and you just basically just thread it through there and just throw it out there. It doesn't do anything at all, but something about it triggers those fish to just annihilate it. But that, for the most part, is what it looks like. I know this is the panfish magnet, but it's not much different from the trout magnet. They all catch fish. So if you're having a tough time catching fish, sometimes downsizing is the best thing that you want to do, especially for panfish. And if they can't get the bait all the way in their mouth, whether you have it below a bobber with a split shot or anything else, or just tossing it out there on tight line and just holding it and waiting for the fish to load up, a lot of times they will just load up on it no matter what. So you need to try one of these if you want to catch more panfish in the creek. So the Nico will catch bass, catfish, crappie, panfish. I mean, it will catch literally almost anything that is in the creek. And this will catch you bass and others as well, but it's more specific towards panfish. Now, another one that I don't have with me, but is very close. He loves his Bobby Garland plastics, and not the big crappie type that I've got right here, which is actually a minnow. They make a smaller one that's actually like a baby swim R, I believe it's called, but it's got a small paddle tail on the backside, and it's more fluke style. And it's about the same size or a little bit bigger than this one that I showed you right here, this panfish magnet. Now, with that one, he was tearing up some fish on that little swimmer. I mean, he was tearing them up on that thing, and I believe he had it under a bobber, and he was just pulling it back, but it has one of the smallest little paddle tails that I had ever seen. I hadn't actually seen these, but you should definitely look out for those Bobby Garland swimmers. And another one, which is actually out by Nico, is the caddy fly. I'll show you a picture of it somewhere up in here, but it's a little bitty thing. It doesn't quite look like a hellgrammite. It looks more like a little bitty shrimp. But I remember that we found the panfish on the creek, and he put that thing under a bobber, and he just caught fish after fish after fish after fish. That thing, as soon as it would hit the water under that bobber, he would just pop it a couple times, let it sit, and there was slight waves on the ripple of the water, just slight, moving that thing, and it was just sitting there doing that under the water, I'm sure, and those fish were just coming up and hammering it. But it was actually smaller, or maybe about the same size or a little smaller than that panfish magnet. So a lot of his panfish lures are around this size right here. And I believe he just had that on a 1/32 ounce jig head, I believe. But that guy straight up knows how to catch some panfish and just about anything that's in the water. Because I know he knows how to catch catfish as well. But I don't know. He's a good guy. Hopefully we go fishing some more. But I just wanted to give y'all my thoughts on what John has taught me throughout my journey of creek fishing. Because I used to do it when I was a little kid, but I really started getting more into it, and I was having fun making some YouTube videos doing it. And then I started watching some of John's, and I picked up some good traits from some of the lures that he was using. So I wasn't always catching them on a rooster tail or a crick hopper or anything like that that you normally would think would just be your go-to creek lures. But now I'm starting to get a little bit of variety in my creek fishing. But let me know what you guys think, and definitely go over to John's channel and check him out. He's got some awesome videos, just all kinds of stuff going on in creeks and rivers and trout and smallmouth and just all over the place. But thanks for watching, you guys, and subscribe if you haven't already. Like this video if you liked it, and I'll see you guys in the next one.